So amortization is essentially watching, it's like loan payments or investments can be amortization. And you'll watch how the thing goes over time. With all financial math that you've done up to this point, you've said, we're going to put an X amount in an account and we're going to let it sit for 20 years. We're never adding to it, subtracting from it. And that's not particularly realistic. I mean, sometimes you do that. But most of the time, with an account, you're going to invest money into it and then keep adding to it each month or each year or something. And so that's what amortization is. And the calculations for this, we did a little bit of them in pre-calc. You will not have to use the ugly formulas this year. You will get to use your calculator. So important things you'll need to know is the amount borrowed or um, loaned, the interest rate, the duration of the loan, and you will use your calculator to do this. So our first example, and I'll show you how to do it on the Inspire. It says Gorgas is taking out a 175,000 pound mortgage to buy an apartment. He plans to repay it over 15 years. Find the amount of his monthly amortization payment if the interest rate is 3.7 per annum. That means per year. And then we'll find the amount of interest Gorgas pays over the duration of his loan. So we go to the Inspire. We go to a calculator screen. Yep. And we go menu, finance. You can scroll around too. And we're going to do financial solver. N is 15 years. That's 15 times 12. And you can type in 15 times 12. My interest rate, I think it was 3.7. Let's see here. 3.7. I'm going to double check if I have to put in this as negative. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And when you do this on the test, you must write down all of this. Okay. So basically, you're writing down the values that you're entering on your calculator. Now, what they don't have this, you're not entering the percent as a decimal, you're entering it as a percent. Not 0.0, yeah, 3.7. Present value is 175,000. We don't know our payments, so we leave that blank. Future value is 0. Payments per year, PPY, is 12. Oh, This is the icky part about the Inspire. I click the down and it changes it down. I have to be clicked into the middle to scroll down. Now click the side and get in the middle. Now you can scroll down. It's the, yes, unable to calculate the number of payments. And it's a compounding per year. Yes. Enter. Oh, I don't know why it didn't work for me before. Hit the enter button on the calculator. Unable to calculate. Go back. Let's hit OK. Just hit enter. Enter usually gets you what's defaulted. So now hit enter. Try that. Oh, you have to have that's right. With the Inspire, you have to have the cursor and the one you want to calculate. You have to scroll into payment. We are paying, yes, it says negative. We are paying £1,268.30 per month. Okay. It's very easy. Once you do it a few times, it's not bad. So to go back, it then asks us how much we're going to pay in interest. So I'm going to escape out of this. 1268.3 times we're paying that for 180 months. Escape. Yep. So I write down my value. This is how much I pay in total. Control, if you highlight it, Control C is copy, Control V is paste. But what I would have done was write down, because that was the answer to the question. And then it asks me, how much am I paying in interest? So I take my monthly payment, multiply it by the amount of payments, and then I'll subtract the amount of principal that my loan was. And this is a pretty great loan. I'm only paying 53,300 pounds in interest.
That's pretty short.
15 years is pretty short. 3.7% is pretty good rate. So then not minus 180. So I subtracted the $175,000 payment. Just type it in again. You can highlight. So if I do this, Control C on the calculator does Control C, Control V works. Yep. Does that make sense then? When you highlight it, scroll over it. And so if you make a mistake, you can just copy and paste and edit. Or if you need to repeat some calculations. This calculator has a lot of power. It's too bad it's not touchscreen. That's the only complaint I have about it, and that they haven't really updated it in 15 years. But some tests probably wouldn't let them. Oh, you have a touchscreen calculator? That you can't use that on this test. But the SAT now lets you use Desmos, so.
Oh, it does?
Yes.
Really? That makes sense.
Yeah, I was like, Desmos. Personally, I think Desmos is actually too powerful.
Both.
You can use sliders and just slide it around until your answer gives you. So I don't know that well, but I know some people that did. So interest equals total amount paid minus initial loan amount. Pay close attention to the accuracy instructions in the question. If instructions are not given, round to 3 significant digits, usually, but with finance, usually round to the nearest cent. Okay. Unless questions specifies otherwise, the interest is compounded monthly on a loan. So unless it's specified otherwise, that last thing, CPY, that's compound periods per year, is 12.
What would you
And
put in there? Oh,
you can't.
you can.
No. You could do daily. You could calculate minutely, but compounding periods per year is, I think, pretty standard to be 12. Oh, they did round it off to 1270, three significant digits. I don't, a lot of times the test, I think, specified to the nearest cent. It is pretty likely you will have one of these questions on your test.
You always like
The big thing here is you just do three. You just keep your first three numbers and round there. That's pretty much all you do in this course. The adding is, if adding is about you keep the place value, multiplying is you keep the least number that was given in the problem. Like thousands place, hundreds place, tens place. You keep whichever one was the least specific place value, so whichever place value is furthest to the left on all the things you're adding together. Okay, given a loan of 5,200 euros is taken out at an interest rate of 4.5% annum. Find the minimum number of monthly payments to repay the loan with a monthly payment of 200 euros. So again, I go back to my financial calculator. That's menu, finance, financial solver. I don't know N this time. My interest rate was 4.5. Oh, yeah, that is actually what it would do in Europe. They use commas. We started with 5,200. My payment is, it's, so one of these has to be negative. Either your present value or your payment has to be negative. My future value is 0. It is a monthly, and so then I scroll up to I didn't even check those default to 12. I scroll up to the N, I hit enter, and it is 28 months. Payment at end is how it wants. The last thing. Go to the bottom.
you want to be there.
No, payment at end.
Okay.
Click in it, and then click the up arrow. Now click in the middle again, or hit enter. 27.4, so that is 28 months. This is so dumb. I I do not like the scrolling around on this. It is the worst part about this calculator, that they use the scroll button to do two things: scroll up and down and change the numbers. The key, though, is getting into the middle of it. And that seems to work. Okay. Example 3. Sandra is looking to buy a house. She has found two banks that will lend her 300,000. The conditions offered by the banks are as follows: 5.7% per annum for 30 years, Bank B 3.2% per annum for 15 years. Determine which bank has a better offer if she is trying to minimize her monthly payment. Probably Bank A is my guess. The interest rate on Bank A is quite a bit higher. than bank B, so I'm gonna need to check. Determine which charges are more interest over the course of the loan. That's very clearly bank A. Higher interest rate and more years means quite a bit more interest. So we'll go to our financial calculator, we'll check. We know B. I don't know the answer to A for sure. I think A will have the lower monthly payment. The interest rate. 5.7. This was the 30-year loan, so 30 times 12. No, 30 times 12. And I got to come down here to payment. So that's monthly payment of 1,741. The next one is half as long with a lower interest rate for the same amount. And yes, it is a higher monthly payment, but a whole lot less interest. And I could calculate the actual interest again by taking the payment amount and multiplying it by the number of payments, subtract off my 300,000. I mean, you could just compare total amount paid too. And is the number of payments, which is always the number of years times 12. Present value and then compounding per year. Usually those are 12. Occasionally they're not. Compounding per year is definitely 12 unless otherwise specified, even if your payments are quarterly. So annuity then comes into the idea where you take your, this is like retirement savings. This is more often you do not deposit every month. A lot of these will be done quarterly, but the compounding per year is still monthly, unless it specifies otherwise. Or this is withdrawing from the retirement account. So there's 240 in an annuity fund on the day of Mina's retirement. If the fund pays 3% rate per annum, find the value of monthly payments made to Mina if she plans to withdraw money to the annuity over the next 20 years. Give the correct answer correct to the nearest penny. So I'm going to look this up, make sure the present value here we need to enter as a negative because it is actually growing in rate. If you don't enter it as a negative, you'll be losing your interest as opposed to gaining interest. So she's pulling money out, but she's still gaining interest on all this money. That makes sense? So if we stick this into the calculator, it's like there's tricks to this. 20 times 12. I think she gets 3.2% again. Yeah. Starts with negative 240,000. Nowhere. She ends up with 0. And she essentially withdraws 2,100 every month. No, she doesn't. This did not do it correctly. There it is. So I do have to make sure I delete it. withdraw, she can withdraw 1,355 each month and still get 20 years worth of payouts out of that. Probably not enough to live on. It's like, yeah. And this might be pounds, so maybe if you live in the country in England. Yeah. Oklahoma. Menu. Menu. Finance. Get to a calculator screen.
So go A. Oh, okay.
Click it again at the graph. Now you're on a calculator. Now press menu.
Oh, okay.
Finance, financial solver.
Cool.
So here we have Jeff who retires when he's 70 years old and has 800,000 as an annuity plan, which pays 4%, 4.7% interest annually. That's not too bad. He plans to withdraw 4,500 from this account until it runs out. Calculate Yahoo's age to the nearest amount when his annuity is going to run out, and then find the maximum he can withdraw to get so he has enough to 100 years. And this one says to the nearest cent. So he's going to run out to the nearest year. So I go my financial calculator. I don't know this much. This is 4.7. He had 800,000, so we're going to call that negative 800,000. He wants 4,500 a year. $304, 305. Now I don't know what that is in years, so I'm going to have to do 305. Yeah. Yep. Definitely pressed the wrong button. And this gives me, it always gives you the fraction. To get a decimal, you hit shift enter. 25.4 years. So the nearest year is 25 years. That would get him till 95. That doesn't get him to 100. He needs to get 30 years. So 30 times 12 was 360. Now we don't know this. He can deduct about 4,150. That probably is enough for him to live off of. Especially if you live in the United States and you can still collect Social Security, definitely enough. Because you can pay rent. Well, hopefully, a lot of times when you're retired, you try to have your house paid off. Yeah, no. You try to have your house paid off so when you're retired, you can get rid of that bill. Right. Now, so that's kind of the financial solver. The trick is, can you use the thing? And when you write these, which when I took the practice exams with them last year, when you write them, you have to write this information on your exams. So I lost points on my practice exam. So get in the habit of writing down this information. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you can write them just exactly like this is on the calculator. You just have to write down what you entered. So it's knowing that the answer didn't appear from you copying off your neighbor's test. It appeared from you using your calculator correctly.
So FB is what? So if you say you want to have 100,000 left, you give to his children or something, then you put a final value like
100,000. I think it would be negative in this case. Yes. Because you're having